Introduction to ArrayList. Before we begin, consider the following. Have you ever gone grocery shopping and forgotten an item, or missed an event that has slipped your mind? It is likely that this has at least happened once in your lifetime. However, you've probably used some sort of list to remind yourself of this type of information. Here are some examples. A grocery list, agenda, or even your brain if your brain can remember all that information. How may this relate to computer science, though? You might have heard of arrays, which can perform this task to an extent. However, we can gain more functionality through using an array list. This presentation will go over what an array list is, how to create an array list, and critical methods of an array list.
How to create array lists. First, in order to be able to use array lists, you need to import the library java.util.arraylist. ArrayList can hold objects, so we have to state the data type or the object the array list will be made of. Here's an example. The array list data type variable name is equal to a new array list of our data type. And here the new keyword's purpose is to just create the object. Notice how we don't state a size in the parentheses because we can actively change it. But if we wanted to, we could declare initial size, as you'll see in this example problem. Create an array list with name cart that has a size of 10. It should be able to hold objects from the groceries class. Okay, well, array lists. And inside of these arrows, you say groceries, which is the name of the class. Cart, which is the name of our array list, is equal to a new array list, groceries. And inside of the constructor, we say we pass a value of 10, which just like predefines the length of our array lists. And you might be wondering, what is an advantage of using array lists instead of normal Java arrays? Well, normal Java arrays have a fixed or static length, while array lists have a dynamic length, which allow for more modifiable lists. So here's a description of the main ArrayList methods that we're going to be going over. First, the add method just adds an object E at the end of the list, and as you can see, it has a Boolean return type. This method just returns true if it successfully made a change in the list. The clear method just removes all elements from the list. The contains method returns true if the list contains a given object O and false otherwise. The get method returns the element at a given index. Index of returns the first occurrence of object O in the list, -1 if it doesn't exist. IsEmpty obviously returns true if the list contains no elements, and if it does contain elements, it just returns false. Last index of returns the index of the last occurrence of object O in the list, -1 if it doesn't exist in the list. The remove int index method removes the element at the given index, and the remove object O method removes the first occurrence of the object O in list. And finally, the size method just simply returns the length or the size of the given array list.
Looping array list. We loop array lists for many different reasons, but in this case, we'll be removing elements in our array list. So how will we write code to remove each element that is equal to 1? A simple for loop. We can start off by saying for int I equals 0, I is less than list.size, I++. And we have to make sure it is dot size and not dot length because we are dealing with array lists and not arrays. Then we can say if list.getI, which is our index, equal to 1, list.remove I, element at that index. But is it possible we can just put an exclamation mark before the equal sign to remove elements that do not equal 1? No, and here's why. Take a look at these numbers in our array, 2, 1, 3, 6, and 0. Starting off at index 0, 2 does not equal 1, so this index will be removed and our new array will look like 1, 3, 6, and 0. Our new index of 0 is at 1, and that now gets skipped because we have I++ in our for loop. So now we look at index 2, which is 3, and that does not equal 1. So now our new array will look like 1, 6, and 0. But our new index of 2, we've already done index of 2, so the 6 gets skipped in this case, and we go straight on to the 0, and that also doesn't equal 1, so that gets removed. So our final array will look like 1 and 6. So how will we change our for loop so we do not skip elements? Easy. All we have to add is I minus minus after we remove each element. Now try to solve what the for each loop on the right hand side will print out.
Here are some challenge questions. Question 1. What does an array list store? A. Classes. B. Objects. C. Primitive data types. Or D. Methods. Question 2. In Java, the underlying data structure for the ArrayList class is A. Resizable or growable arrays. B. Balanced tree. C. Linked list. Or D. Hash table.
Review of ArrayLists are created by first importing the appropriate library, as you can see below, import.javautil.arraylist, and creating the object. And you can also see 3 different ways to create an array list below. For loops and for each loops are both good at printing array lists, but in the end, for loops are more efficient at modifying them. As you can see below, there are multiple methods that you can use with ArrayList to modify them, and that is ArrayList.
Now let's tie it back to our initial example, the shopping list. We could use the array list to create a grocery list of items. This could be done through something like ArrayList items, shopping list equals new ArrayList items, where items is our data type and shopping list is the name of our array. We could also use an array list to add new items. For example, we could say item popcorn equals new item popcorn, and then say shopping list.add popcorn. What this does is adds a new item called popcorn to our array list. And so our array list will not only contain rocks, firewood, and tiger skin, but it will also contain popcorn. Now say you wanted to remove an item from your shopping list that you don't really want. Let's say that we don't want firewood. Well, you could say shopping list.remove 1, and that would remove firewood from the list. Or say that you wanted to remove popcorn because you realize that you already have popcorn at home. Well, we could look for the item popcorn specifically through shopping list.remove popcorn, which will look at the item itself instead of the index. And that is the power of an array list.